But this to me is everything that's wrong with boxing. It's a money play, nothing wrong. I don't begrudge Anthony Joshua getting 50 million quid for an easy night's work. That's fantastic returns. Most people would take it. But from the boxing world, Jake Paul is now a professional fighter. Whether we categorise him as a YouTuber or not, he's licensed to fight, which means that the governing body should be suggesting that this is not a fight that possibly they should be looking to sanction.
Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a bad idea.
Jake Paul is back in the boxing headlines once again, after the disappointing collapse of his fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, a fight that fell apart before the two could even step into the ring. With that chaos still fresh, the spotlight is now shifted completely toward a shocking new possibility: Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. The internet exploded overnight as fans reacted to Tony Bellew's strong prediction. Bellew said that if this fight ever becomes real, it would mean the destruction of Jake without any hesitation, simply because the difference in power, experience, and skill is way too huge to be ignored.
Josh and Jake. Yeah. I don't believe it. I don't believe a single thing until I see him in the ring. I don't believe any. Even if they come together for a press, I don't believe it. I don't genuinely believe he will climb into a boxing ring with 10-ounce gloves on with Anthony Joshua. It won't happen. It can't.
Hypothetically, if it does, how long does it last?
As long as Josh wants it to. Simple as that. As long as he wants it to. The same way it did with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. The same way it did with Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou.
Longtime promoter Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn, didn't like anything when adding even more fuel to this rumor. He mentioned that if the fans really want Jake Paul to be taken out of the boxing world, this is the matchup they should support. He said Joshua is the right man to deliver the knockout that ends Jake's boxing run for good. Hearn noted that while Jake has brought attention to the sport, he has also created chaos, and if people want that chaos gone, letting AJ handle him is the fastest and clearest solution.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua 50-50 fight, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
But what really makes things crazier is that Eddie Hearn has just confirmed he is already in active contact with Jake Paul's team to get the fight done for December. Hearn says the talks are serious, with both sides talking money, location, promotion, and TV rights. And the energy is strong around the negotiations. In fact, this is no longer a rumor or some social media banter. This is a real business discussion moving fast, and one should expect something big very soon.
The gun was jumped a little bit and fired early. There have been conversations. We were flirting with the idea of having this little 8-round fight this year. Not with Jake Paul, by the way, because he was fighting Gervonta Davis. You wouldn't have really heard of the person we were going to fight. We received a phone call from Nikisa Baldirian, from MVP, and he said, look, would you want to fight Jake Paul? And I said, listen, I don't want to just be a publicity muppet for you, telling everybody that you offered the fight to Anthony Joshua. If you're serious, we can discuss the numbers, and if there's a chance for us to run out in December.
Hearn also gave his personal take on the fight, stating that Joshua will badly hurt Jake Paul and that his team is more than ready to allow that to take place. He said AJ's speed, size, and punching power are levels beyond anything Jake has ever prepared for or has seen in a ring. Hearn explained that Joshua is not the type of fighter Jake can surprise or overwhelm with awkward setups or YouTube-style tactics. He feels Jake will learn a painful lesson about the difference it makes between show fights and elite heavyweight boxing.
And you know, take care of this bloke and get him out of the boxing world and make several tens of millions in the process. Of course, we will consider it. And that's basically where we are at now. Should Jake Paul be fighting Anthony Joshua? No. Is he mad to do it? Yeah. But could it happen? Yes, it could.
All that talk, and then everything was made official when Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua both tweeted out the announcement of the fight. The poster showed both men facing off, with December 16th confirmed as the date. Minutes into the post, the internet exploded. Fans dropped reactions, memes, jokes, predictions, and arguments. Immediately, the announcement went viral, which makes this one of the most talked about fights of the year. Even people who don't like the matchup can't deny the hype is huge. Simon Jordan reacted with absolute outrage once the fight was confirmed. He said, "Such bouts are just what is killing the sport from within." Jordan reasoned that influencers fighting elite athletes should never be treated as genuine boxing events. He said, "This kind of matchmaking lowers the credibility of the sport, turning boxing into a circus where entertainment is more important than competition." His reaction spread everywhere, with many agreeing that the sport is drifting away from its true purpose.
But this, to me, is everything that's wrong with boxing. It's a money play, nothing wrong. I don't begrudge Anthony Joshua getting 50 million quid for an easy night's work. That's fantastic returns. Most people would take it. From the boxing world, Jake Paul is now a professional fighter. Whether we categorise him as a YouTuber or not, he's licensed to fight, which means that the governing body should be suggesting that this is not a fight that possibly they should be looking to sanction.
Jordan doubled down by attacking the sanctioning bodies, saying they've ruined their reputations by approving this fight as a legitimate professional bout. He said, "This only goes to prove that money has replaced integrity in the sport, sanctioning Jake Paul against a former heavyweight champion." He said the organizations no longer care about rankings, fairness, or realism, but only about cash and viral attention. For him, this fight represents the downfall of traditional boxing values.
But does ultimately boxing get damaged?
Well, I think so. But I think boxing damages itself left, right, and centre. But I think the reputability and the credibility of some of these boxing sanctioning bodies is poor anyway. But I think it does get damaged.
Even if it's an exhibition fight, which it might well be.
Well, then what's the jeopardy in that? If it's an exhibition fight, which it shouldn't be, if it's a proper fight, then Jake Paul is going to get demolished. He's going to get demolished.
He didn't stop there, though. Jordan also warned Jake Paul that taking this fight will come back to hurt him in the worst possible way. He used the Ngannou fight as a reference, stating that even a massive powerhouse like Francis Ngannou was dealt with brutally by Anthony Joshua. Jordan believes that Jake is stepping into something way above his pay grade and is in real physical danger. According to him, Jake might understand finally how brutal the sport can be when you fight a guy with real world-class power.
But Jake Paul going into a fight with Anthony Joshua, to me, is absurd. I mean, Anthony Joshua is a legitimate two-time heavyweight champion of the world. He may have got destroyed by Daniel Dubois, but notwithstanding, there's nothing physically wrong with Anthony Joshua that he can't execute. Mentally, he might be in a little bit of a difficult position after the loss to Daniel Dubois. Jake Paul, if this is not going to be, curated into a little dance around exhibition.
Jordan continued by saying that he actually hopes Jake Paul does get knocked out cold. He said Jake being laid flat on the canvas would send a message to every influencer that's trying to make boxing a playground. He believes Jake needs to be humbled publicly, not for hate but for the health of the sport. Fans were in shock at the harsh tone of Jordan, while many others said that he simply said what many boxing purists have been thinking for years.
I mean, it is like sport has become, and what I got my head around on Saturday night was the entertainment value of Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. The fighting of itself, I could be all pious about it, but the entertainment industry is so prevalent in sport now. This is entertainment. This is going to have hundreds of millions of people watching it, and Anthony Joshua gets paid, and Jake Paul hopefully gets flattened.
Dana White also commented on the news, stating that the fight is a bad idea on a competitive level. He said, "A fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua makes no sense in terms of skill or size." However, he admitted that fans might finally get what they've been waiting for, a moment where Jack faces a challenge he cannot run from. Dana said that even though the fight is risky and strange, the entertainment factor is huge. People are going to watch out of pure curiosity.
Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a f***ing bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
Ariel Helwani chimed in with yet another stern warning, as he said that this fight is ridiculously dangerous for Jake Paul. He brought up the Ngannou fight once more, mentioning how Ngannou almost beat Tyson Fury, while Joshua dispatched him with embarrassing ace. Helwani elaborated that Jake has never been hit by a puncher even remotely close to Joshua's level, which will likely cause serious damage due to the impact. He said Jake won't be able to survive the pressure, the strength, or the accuracy AJ brings from the opening seconds.
The Joshua thing is crazy.
Is that a real conversation?
Jake's a lunatic, and it's probably real. I saw Joshua knock out Francis Ngannou, and the guy was like out cold for 5 minutes. And this is a guy who had never been knocked down, let alone knocked out.
If he steps in the ring with him, and actually a bell rings and there are punches thrown, every bit of Jake Paul is not a real boxer conversation is gone forever.
Tommy Fury chimed in too, mentioning that if he could beat Jake Paul, then Anthony Joshua would annihilate him. Tommy also maintained this fight is a mismatch from the start and Jake won't last long. He said that Jake took this fight for money and attention, not because he believes he can win. According to Tommy, Joshua hits harder, moves better, thinks faster, and operates at a level Jake has never trained for. For him, the fight ends brutally and quickly.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on. Like, you can't be serious. You can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous. It really is.
The situation is actually bad for Anthony Joshua too, according to Michael Bisping. While the money is enormous, reports say that each fighter will earn around $92 million. Bisping claimed the risk is bigger than people think.
But it is, okay? Now, it's a win-win for Jake Paul, and it's a lose-lose for Anthony Joshua. However, given all of that, both men are going to make $92 million each. So forget my opinion. Who gives a damn when you can bank $92 million for having a little move around in a boxing ring? Fair play. You can't on that.
He explained that beating Jake Paul does nothing for AJ's legacy. It won't raise his status or prove anything, but if AJ loses by accident, it would destroy his reputation forever. The backlash would be so fierce that his career might not recover. Bisping said that Joshua is walking into a dangerous situation where the reward is cash, but the risk is humiliation. He believes AJ can't let anything go wrong, not even for a moment, because the consequences would be huge.
And for Anthony Joshua, as I said, this is kind of a lose-lose, right? Because if he wins, people are still going to say, well, you only beat Jake Paul, right? The man that lost to Tommy Fury, after all, right? That's the only loss in his record, Tommy Fury. You're telling me that Tommy Fury is going to beat him, and then Anthony Joshua's not going to beat him? So if he beats him, he gets no credit. And if he loses, then holy can you imagine? That would be the biggest downfall of any boxer's career.
He finished off his breakdown by stating Joshua is still almost guaranteed to come out on top, and it won't hurt him nearly as much as some critics believe. He said AJ will collect his massive paycheck, land a few clean shots, and the fight early and move on. For Bisping, this matchup is more of a quick business move in his mind for Joshua rather than an actual competitive challenge. He said Joshua won't need to push himself, and the win will come with ace.
The reality is, he's not going to lose. There is no way on this earth that Jake Paul can beat Anthony Joshua in a boxing match. That's just a fact, okay?
The same belief was shared by Ade Oladipo, who felt the fight should be very short. He said Joshua has the power to end things in round 1 if he decides to. According to Ade, Jake will not be able to take AJ's jab, footwork, or speed. He mentioned that once Joshua can land clean, the fight is over. Ade explained that it should be a physical difference alone that comes into play, with Jake walking into the hardest night of his career.
I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be and should be easy work for AJ. Like, well, why are you going to turn down 100 million? AJ should and could, more should, knock out Jake Paul in a round. Like, if Jake Paul was over here fighting under our British Boxing Board of Control, I don't think it would be a Southern Area Cruiserweight champion. AJ is a former unified heavyweight champion of the world that I still believe is a top 10 heavyweight in the world. Just. Like, AJ should be able to destroy him.
December 16th is shaping up to be one of the biggest nights of the year already. Stay locked in for more updates, predictions, and full breakdowns. Subscribe for all the content coming next.